channel where we talk about the spiritual truth and how to utilize energy on a day-to-day basis, man. And check this out, man. We got to get deep because, as y'all see by the title, yeah, we fail to realize as people that the schooling program wasn't meant for you to actually be successful in life and stuff like that, right? It was meant for you to understand the business and a system of how it works, whether it was religion, whether it was politics, or any of them things. So before we even get deep, I got a couple slides too that I'm gonna end up showing y'all that I'm not. These ain't my words. You get what I'm saying? It's the actual words from the creators of the school board. Because if you want somebody to understand your programming and stuff like that, just say for instance, if you want somebody to understand the codes and stuff you're coming with, you got to teach them codes so they can understand where you're coming from. But if they don't know no other codes, like this is a system where they're forced to learn, then that's all they're going to be able to apply to anything. You get what I'm saying? So this is how they take full advantage of somebody. So basically, they're not teaching people for you to actually, be able to use these in real life, and just be used in real life for certain things. And you're going to see that. You know what I mean? But this like part two, because I done already broke down how, David Rockefeller, John Rockefeller, all those type of people, how it all just involved with each other, of how they got, schooling networks and stuff like that. But hold on, let me get out this car before it even get hot. But yeah, when it comes down to that, it get deep. Because science have tricked us and also believing in things that ain't real, that you can't see with your eye. Even when it comes to like the germs, micro organisms, all that type of dumb junk. You know what I'm saying? It's like different ways of how they see things. It's not exactly what we think. So the way that they teach us in school is a certain way to see it. So when we see it, we think that's what it is because we don't know no other way. You get what I'm saying? So even if they told us, hey, this is an atom, this is what it looks like. Well, our only thing is to be like, okay, that's it. That's all we could do unless we get outside of that and find out it was a system teaching us how to basically go along with storylines and go along with cosplay events to make it look like some real stuff actually happening. So for like even with president, you know what I'm saying? Like I was just showing how it ran through the public school system, how you get elected, you know what I'm saying, to be president for the class or to be the other little junk I don't forgot about what the name of the all the little positions that you could get elected for, like if people vote for you in the school and stuff like that. But it's already teaching kids how to vote. You get what I'm saying? It's already teaching you how to get into a single file line, so aka how to become one with the rest of the world. So we got these different type of things where it play a role to show us that our education system wasn't forced to succeed in actual life. It was actually forced to succeed into their business plans and their organization. It goes so deep that, for instance, the first time I ever heard somebody getting over how I'm gonna say it, you ever went to a job, if you got too much skill for a job, they quick to tell you. They quick to tell you. I'm talking about they'll be like this. They'll be like, yo, you overqualified. And you might not believe this stuff, but I got everything pulled up too for us. So y'all can see the slides and jump, man. But yeah, so it basically if you got intellect of yourself or understand how a company work and a business work, they try to use the excuse of saying that you might go to another business or another company. But that's not the case. They're actually using it because they don't want you to keep count of how things running and how much stuff actually costs. That's the reason why they're able to manage, like even in the retail, fast food, and all that type of stuff. That's why they're able to run like a waste product. You get what I'm saying? Especially when it's like a big corporation that own it. You know what I mean? Even though they strict on it, they have their policies of how they do it because they're trying to get the most they can out of it. Although, you know, they already need just a little bit of people. They don't really need that many. But that's just how life works. You crazy talking about some do a backflip. Y'all just be saying anything. Shit, that's what I was gonna say. They done made us do a damn backflip all the way to they way of learning. So we all like little worker ants out here. If you'll pay attention to it too. If you had a job site or something and you watching all y'all work, you know what I'm saying? Everybody busy getting this junk done, and then you realize like, damn, if all y'all at this company, you know what I'm saying, was to quit y'all day work tomorrow today, the company ain't gonna have nothing to run. But yet at the same time, it's like without you being the people there, without them running it, they don't know how to run it themselves. So we learning how to run a company better than them because they're not training themselves to be worker ants. So they're training themselves how to play the role of a business person. It's a difference when you're employed by something and when you're an actual businessman. You get what I'm saying? You got to worry about taking losses and how to make gains. When you're an employer, you're just trying to find work and trying to find ways to get around things to get through the hours of the day or however. So the way that how they shape their minds is whoever could learn this system better than anybody else of how to be an actual slave, but we're gonna mark it off as a businessman. So this is the marketing. Like the business is business thing is one of the worst things you could hear when you're dealing with somebody. You get what I'm saying? It's like quick when they can say that, but at the same time, it can also be one of the things where you understand the separation of how stuff works. Because at the end of the day, it's just all like a ring to keep going. And we all know that by now. You know what I'm saying? But it just go deep to find out that your education system and politics and all that runs together just so religion and all that runs together just so you could be a part of it. So even if you don't want to be part of it this way, they got a shoe that fits you. So it's always something where they're actually reaching out to get you into their business. You know what I'm saying? It's like always like, hey y'all, come over here. I got something for y'all. It ain't never like you being able to be creative or you being able to come up with something. So even in job industries and stuff, they get intimidated basically by seeing if you have the same credentials that they have. Because now they're going to tell you, hey, you overqualified. What's good, Jax? But they're going to tell you quick, you overqualified. So basically what they're telling you is you too smart for this system. We don't need you or you're too skilled. So they're showing you, hey, we're not trying to get someone that's skilled on their own. We want somebody that's trained a certain way. So now you see how people is. So when they talk about the business is business thing, that's the first reason why one of these people is managers. You know what I'm saying? Or big, big like GMs and stuff. Because they'll be cut though. They don't be caring about friends, family, who got to get fired, what their food not going to be, none of that. You know what I'm saying? This stream is about, how our science education system has fooled us to become, basically like worker ants for programs that they create and we cannot have no control of, but could be controlled of the whole time. You know what I'm saying? We the ones that keeping the programs running. So we all know that. At the same time, we figured it out. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you type in who started the school system and you see what his ideology was. It didn't change. His ideology was to make the perfect people for certain agendas. That's the reason why they let people come from cross seas and stuff and employ. Get employed with the jobs and also with the schooling so they can learn different systems. That's why when you see people from across the seas and stuff, that's why they're trying to learn the English thing. You get what I'm saying? Like, but all of them have ties. It's not like just America by themselves. No, all of these people shake hands at the end of the day. We understand that. So when it comes down to the education system, it didn't just come from here. It was already in Brazil and Europe and all them type of areas before it even came here. So when they came here, they just taught it a certain way so people won't be understanding where they actually come from and start to believe in science more than their own actual real life. You know what I'm saying? So people believe in planets, people believe in stars, people believe in all this stuff more than they could believe in, their own life. Aliens, mermaids, ghosts, they believe in everything. So what these people do is for years just play these roles. They cosplay. They like Scooby-Doo. You ever seen Scooby-Doo? Scooby-Doo is the prime example of how our government do us. You know what I'm saying? We be like, damn, who did that? Come to find out, we pull off the mask and find out, oh, damn, y'all killed JFK. Oh, damn, y'all the ones that made the trade building fall. So, we see all of these things where they hide under this mask, like I said, like in Scooby-Doo. So it's a mystery. And the reason why it's a mystery is because you don't know and something be quite off and you feel it in your gut. So later on, when you find out what's going on, you be like, damn, they did just play me like that. You know what I'm saying? AKA how Velma do, jinkies. So when you saying that, you got the clue or you caught what's going on. So they like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's when they switch up the game plan. And this is the reason why we see so many switches and agendas and so many times of them trying to, get people out of whack. Because, like, distraction tactics, that's what I was going to say. So if you get distracted amongst other things that don't really matter in the world, they know if I throw that, they'll never care about the things that matter. So if we throw a people business about who fighting with this person, who arguing with this person, if we push the basketball thing more, if we push the football thing more, if we push the drama between the celebrities more, we understand that people is going to be more related to this than actually try to learn what happened with them. You know what I'm saying? How to build our own stuff. Like I tell people all the time, LeBron plays basketball, right? He's good as hell. You would think at this point LeBron should be richer, as rich as the person that owns, the basketball businesses, such as because he's the biggest asset there. So we know the money is different, but if you look at the money of between how much I'm get paid, and this ain't no pocket watching stuff. They're just showing you the actuality of how we get played and how we get used. And yeah, at the same time, these businesses do not have a plummet. They're every year their goal is to profit. You know what I'm saying? And profit more than they profit last year. So if they profited 2% this year, they're trying to profit 4% next year. And the way they play these out is sending out people as well to make it like you could just invest in a business or you could just do this and learn these classes and you will have what it takes. No, man, none of these people know exactly what goes on. These people have it selected of knowing how your knowledge work and your intelligence work. So if you're very intelligent and not knowledgeable, because knowledgeable will just be like you being able to learn a book or learn a manuscript real quick and being able to, recycle it or whatever, God damn it, basically just repeat it and stuff, word for word. It's almost like how they do with a court jester. You know what I'm saying? How they typing in everything somebody says. That's the way that they use people. So when they see that a person can learn a program like that, they feel like these is one of the people that they can have control of, long as they don't get too much of it, too much of learning how everything works. So they try to keep people in certain systems too. That's why you see, even at a small job and stuff like that, you may see a person that never been trained, never been on a shift before, come in as your manager and got more pay and more things going, like they're more important, because this is how it works. So companies even get rid of people. We see how it all goes because it's all about a dollar. It's all about that when it comes to that sense. But it's really about control behind the closed doors. The dollar just bring the control. So I don't want y'all thinking, run away from money, because then you're going to be fucked up in life. So don't go by that, but actually understand how deep it goes when we talk about reverse psychology and psychology of how the mind and brain works. So you'll see them studying this. You'll see them putting monitors on people, seeing how you think. When you scared, you'll see them watching people when they sleep. So they show you all the time. They're plugging us up to look at us like worker ants, or look at us like, something going on. If anybody can relate, trust me. If you work a lot of hours, say you just got to that job and stuff, when you go to sleep or when you about to go to sleep, it's going to be like all the programming of you trying to learn everything that you learned throughout that job. So even if you learn how to put the tires on the car, you're going to remember, okay, I got to do this tire first, this screw come out first, da, da, da. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be like a whole thing that just keep replaying in your head. So we see how it's like a routine and ritual. That's the reason why it's not like you have selected days, even though things have to get done. It's always like it's just in a big circle of keeping jump. More for them to go, not for us to actually build and have our own things where, okay, now once I built this to this, now what? You get what I'm saying? Now I can build over here. Now what? No, it's just a stuck thing where you just in this loop. You know what I'm saying? And that's the reason why people be feeling like that. And as lifetimes go by, it only get worse, because it's like repeating a life phase. You know what I'm saying? And people ain't with it no more. That's the reason why we like to say the real ones have returned too, because the people that let just slide by and ain't care too much. You know what I'm saying? As long as they just felt good in certain days, it's over with. It ain't about that no more. You know what I'm saying? People really now is trying to engage into changing the world, and that's the beauty about everybody actually waking up. So when it comes down to this education system and stuff like that, that's one of the things as well, because it plays around with the medical as well as it plays around with the politics and religion and entertainment and stuff. Because at the same time, they'll tell you the only reason why, or the only way you can go to this school if your child is, took this vaccination or took these type of shots before the vaccine even came out. So it's always a push for them to try you by seeing what you know. So if you never knew how to avoid these questions, next thing you know your kid might be getting poked up and might be sick and stuff. But it ain't about them caring about your kid. It's about just showing a program of how powerful it actually is to have people, join and do the things that they want them to do, even if it come down to depopulating themselves and trusting their word. It's almost like a test. It's almost like, let's see what they do. They trust our words so much that we could tell them we don't know nothing about this sickness, but we know how to cure it quickly. Like, it don't even make sense. You get what I'm saying? So they'll make up something and make up like this to cure for it, make up a whole storyline and event of how it happened, and then try to play it all out. And we the only ones that gotta sit there and be part of the damn show without us signing up for nothing. You know what I'm saying? So at the same time, as the people, once we start waking up, we realize, yo, I ain't being part of the show. You know what I'm saying? This y'all tripping. Ain't nobody finna go in there and put this in their arm. Why would I put something in me and that don't even work? You get what I'm saying? Like, what in the hell I'm gonna take something for, and it ain't gonna help me? The only thing it's gonna do is actually hurt me. If I'm already going through something, they just let me go through it. But we get so trustworthy into the man of word, man's word, that people take it more than actual faith and belief, even of your own family. Somebody could know your whole life. You could have been telling them, do not do this, man, because it got this in it. It's making people sick. It's actually, man, people don't care. Just like the bird flu, a lot of people realize, like, damn, when we get the flu shot, it seemed like we be more sicker. So we're watching them basically treat us like bugs and treat us like, what's the name? So when you're getting smarter, you got stuff that don't supposed to be in food that's making you dumber, basically, that's killing brain cells and all this type of stuff here as they want to market. But at the same time, if you super smart, it's like you immune to it, and then you go to fighting through it. So that's the reason why they always adding more addictives or adding more flavorists and all this type of stuff here, because they're always trying to find a way to dumbing the people down or keep the masses in a certain intellect so they can have control over them. So that's how deep it goes. That's the reason why the education system don't really educate you as much as you think. Because now when you get out in the real world or the real life, you can't apply it to nothing you learn. Only thing you can apply is the reading and the math, because of everything. That's the way that they talk to you and how the things work. But if you understand on a deep note of how these things work, then you'll have it. You know what I'm saying? Of how to make it work, like how to do actual science. You know what I'm saying? Without them telling you, okay, this is science because of this. No, this is science because we all could experience this. This is experience that's going on. You trying to make it like you taught that experience or you came up with it. You just put your name behind it. AKA you just colonized the art of science as well. Hold on. All right. Going back here real quick. Hold up, y'all. To the lab. Run into the lab. Let's go to the lab. Let's get it. Let's get to the lab real quick. All right, we here. We in the lab, dog. Let me flip it around. Bam, we in the lab. So, this is what I wanted to get at. Now, look, the aim of the what it is pertain. Oh, I can't read today. Either way, oh, I got it on the wrong thing. Hold up. There you go, y'all see it. Instruction was for children to be able to read and interpret the Bible for themselves without need the I guess edges. I don't know how to read that. I ain't even gonna cap with y'all. And interpretation of clergy. You hear that? So basically that's what the history of the education in the United States. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why we see this religion come in at it, with also us representing worshiping the Pope, worshiping all these different things, these different versions of man. So even when it comes to science, so when it comes down to science, aka education, when it comes down to business, when it comes down to politics, when it comes down to religion, when it comes down to entertainment, they give us celebrities or give us somebody to idolize, although they says in their own book, thou shalt not, bear false witness, and thou shalt not idolize, false celebrities and all this type of stuff here. But as you see, that is part of it. Now, look, he focused on the vocational training for poor children, believing in the education should prepare them for specific roles. His influence shaped the modern school system. John D. Rockefeller. You see this? Now, when you see all these rich, powerful people teaching you something in the world, they're not trying to teach you how to be like them. No, that's the whole point of them being successful, rich, and powerful, so they can have something that you do not. So at the same time, they're not trying to teach you how to be like them. They're trying to teach you how to be under them. So this is the reason why we have all of these different things. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, damn, what's wrong with this damn system? So now, going on to, even if you're too good and learn the game too much, they start playing tricks on you. Like shadow banning, like, that different type of stuff. Even when it comes to a job, look, is it possible to be overqualified for a job? Hiring managers may hesitate to hire someone who is significantly more qualified than the job requires, as they might worry about the candidate's job satisfaction, motivation, or likelihood of leaving for a better opportunity. No, that is what they teach y'all that's under the wing. But this is to teach people from not to get too far into understanding the business. If you peacock that you're making more than $100,000 from me a month, and I'm not able to pay you that, but yet you're the one doing all the work, we're gonna start having issues once too many people start paying that attention. So how we're gonna teach y'all that is a system where we're gonna basically make everything secretive and make it like we're doing it for your own care, but it's really for the care of others, because we don't want people onto what we got going on. So now when y'all see type of things, it get real. So we got to understand the people that invested in this, that's what they want the investment to be, into the people, into the people to being like a perfect soldier, aka the perfect working ant. So you know how you got fire ants, you got queen ant, you got the big ants, what it's called, the wood ones and stuff. That's basically how they look at us. The big strong wood ones would be like the bosses and managers and stuff that got like a position in a corporation. And the motherfucking queen ants would be like the manager in stores at retails and stuff like that. And then, the little worker ants would be all the damn employees at any damn site. So when we looking at this, what's good? What's good, Irito? What's good, homie? So now we looking at how this all ties down. How you have the Rothschilds family, which financially owned every goddamn thing when it come down to, the merge between the French and the British. You know what I'm saying? So we understand how they get here and how they was able to move. And I don't want to talk too much on them because y'all already know they're going to shadow ban extra hard. But either way, this is why y'all these numbers look so familiar. So when you're looking at Nathan and stuff like that, 1777 to 1836, remember, they're in love with that 1700s. That's like their years of actual being able to colonize and actually be able to take over things. You get what I'm saying? So but that ain't the first year they came, but that's the year they was able to start taking over. So this is the reason why most of our history do not come back off of the 1500s, 1600s that much. They basically reflect off of the 17s. It even skipped by with the Christopher Columbus thing and jumped into other stories that happened. So this is the reason why I be saying our people, we need to educate ourselves. Now I want y'all to look at this right here. Look at this right here. By the time he became a national park, and by the time Yosemite became a national park in 1890, he was on the cusp of retirement from the Standard Oil Company. You know what the Standard Oil is? The Standard Oil was the oil company that basically everybody had to get the oil from until the families ended up, having more family powers in different nationalities or ethnicities or however you want to put it. So now they go to, different markings of how they sell the stuff. So now you're not going to be able to just look up one group like you was back then with the Standard Oil. Now you'll have to go through multiple companies and figure it out like I did yesterday's breakdown on that video. But back again, y'all, remember, the history of education wasn't for us to become smart. It wasn't meant for that. It was meant for us to become, basically a worker to fulfill certain roles. And once again, let's play it right here. You see this? Training for poor children. Even the poor children. That was his main focus, to make sure focus right there. John D. Rockefeller impacted Americans' education system throughout his philosophic efforts, particularly with the General Education Board. That was the GB. That's what it used to be called, basically. He forced on the vocational training for poor children. So believing education should prepare them for specific roles. There we go. Specific roles. Not for you to be successful in life and understand life. No, for you to play these certain roles. For you to be a good cosplayer, like I said earlier in my life. So then it says his influence shaped the modern school system. So now you guys know, although you probably never wanted to look it up, now we know that it's aiming, the school system is aiming to keep us in a certain bracket. Even if we're a business owner, we're still not people that run laws and jurisdictions. So even though we could be with the laws and supporting the people that's, in law school and all that, we do not run no jurisdictions. We cannot make any of these things up on our own. And the reason why is because we gave away power, went to lacking things, didn't realize what we had, lost history, let them told us this is your history, which was his story. So when we learning from these schools, we're learning from the paganized view. So what we're doing is learning from why America is great, but it's not like it wasn't great before they came and named it America and all this other stuff, right? So now you start seeing how deep it actually go to someone telling you, hey, we made this better. We gave y'all like just like how they do it. I'm gonna fix your headache, but you're gonna have liver bladder, low magnesium rates, iron level, fluoride raising, mercury intense levels, blood pressure. And you're like, what the fuck did I even take this pill for? But that's exactly how it works in life. To the point that you be done looked at your check and realized, damn, by the time I got paid, I have to pay for every fucking thing. So therefore, of course, my money going back. So to you, it's like money. But to the big businesses and corporations, it ain't nothing but numbers. And they make these numbers lie all the time. All they got to do is type it in. Who are you to question, damn, this business like this? You know what I'm saying? As soon as you get the question and all that, you're going to find yourself fired. You know what I'm saying? You're going to find yourself fired, and they're going to tell you overqualified probably for the position. You might need to get into this stuff yourself. And they're going to make it a whole bunch of things where you're not going to be like them. You get what I'm saying? So you got to be careful. Sometimes you got to know people to get into these positions. And that's about the only way you can, because some of these people will really rate you overqualification for everything and then tell you for a job that shouldn't qualify that much that you're not able to get it. So they play with you in those type of ways because they know what's going on. And it's not like they know people individually. No, they know mindsets. So they know how to make somebody believe in things like they want somebody to believe. I'm finna go back out here real quick. I gotta put this on the charger, y'all. So it get deep, man. Like I said, when it comes to the education system, we gotta realize it's not for us. Is it, what is it educating us for? You know what I'm saying? Is it educating us for us to be perfect slaves, bots, or what is it doing? And that's when we find it like, damn, it really is against us, even to the point that it's even against the healthcare of our kids. You know what I'm saying? They'll put our kids in a situation and stuff, tell them to take vaccines that you didn't have to take, or flu shots and all this that you didn't have to take as a child, but now your kids have to take it because of a new disease. Like, how are these diseases getting here? You know what I'm saying? The only way they could be created is by general warfare, the same thing they use in a lot of these Indian wars, which that's the reason why they don't like to touch on these type of things too. Because if you understand that your government or the ones that you shook hands with have been spraying you and doing all these different things to you over and over, you eventually gonna stop siding with them. You're gonna eventually see who the true enemy is. Even if somebody messed up down the road, you're gonna start realizing, damn, a lot of the reason why that person messed up is because what the oven mitt did to him. Them oven mitts is crazy, man. So you gotta watch out for the oven mitt. So when we talk about that, it get deep. They play games with numbers. They can manipulate things. So even with the manipulation of views and stuff, I'm pretty sure any content creator that's speaking real stuff, and I don't know too many, y'all. I ain't gonna sit there and cap on that. I told y'all and gave them a shout out on my channel. Even though we're going through a little something, I told y'all straight up. That's the real one. You feel what I'm saying? So they're gonna play with your numbers. They're gonna play with my numbers because they don't want the reflection of it to look good. Once people see 20,000 people tuned in, they're more interested to go into that than they see 200 or 20 or 2,000. And that's the way that the brain works, is because that's the way that they train the brain throughout schools and reputations. So let me go ahead and get into the call too, y'all, so I can let it charge. Look at this lady here. Yeah, so basically that's how it is. It's like a repetition thing. Hold on, y'all. What's good, bro? So think about it like that. And that's just what it is. So if you able to break the train of, an education system that's failing us on purpose, it ain't like they're teaching the kids how to build and stuff, right? I got kids that's in school. Now, that don't mean I don't have my kids in public school, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm telling y'all, it probably is the best thing to probably homeschool them. But at the same time, you do want them to be around other kids so they can learn how to do group activities, so they can learn communication and stuff like that, and don't be too much in the dark. Because anytime something is too much in the dark, when it's time for it to come out in the light, it don't know how to really show itself like that. It go crazy, you know what I'm saying? Same thing with, like, when you know how to be like the nerd that never had too much attention, and then everybody finally give them attention, and they just do something odd as hell. You be like, God damn, that was, maybe we shouldn't. You know what I'm saying? So they use general tactics and war tactics of making something repeat more in the mind, so it could feel more correct than if it wasn't as so many repetitions. You get what I'm saying? So it gets deep when we talk about how this general war play out and tactics of even how they teach you. They'll show you right in your face. They'll be like, yo, if something was to catch on fire, even if it's on fire, we could escape out the bottom of the ship and jump into this right here, and we'll be able to be in a little parachute cocoon thing coming out. Show you this. Use it to the highest level, cut cameras, have certain angles, all this type of stuff there, have it like a zero gravity, shit falling and dropping, but they want us to believe it because they told us something about gravity. So if you already see how deep that is, that was already a brainwashing thing where they told you something and gravity existed. You get what I'm saying? So when they told you stars existed as well, they was being funny. So what they did was made a collection of lights that could be seen for so far, just like kind of like your LED. And this is way before these times. You get what I'm saying? So this is way before LED and all that. Where they're able to take them same lights, you know what I'm saying, and be able to use them. Be able to make them like look like stars of what they taught us. They told us these are stars. If you never was taught that, you would have looked up there and just be like, why is them lights up there flashing? So then if you did research and found out about lights and found out what a light looked like from a million miles away and all this type of stuff, they're using their own science. It'll show you it looked like a star. A satellite looked like a star from miles away. You know what I'm saying? You just hold up like, hold on, how do a satellite look like a star? So then you go to wondering like, okay, so how y'all can't touch the stars? But hold on. No, they the ones set the stars. That's the reason why. So you see the satellites and stuff like it. What's good, bro? You from Indonesia? Oh, that's respect. I'm glad it's going across, the country and stuff, because that's what it is. So once we unite as all nations and not united under their nations, it get real. Because you already know the United Nations is what they do as in control of everyone. So it teaches certain things. Like in India, Indonesia, they make them come to the Hindu god of Hinduism and stuff. So they like to base that off of Eastern astrology. So where they say the sun rise, or how they say God rise in the east, but it's actually talking about where the first time of the event getting played out, where the sun is actually being created before it get over here. So even when we go into our astrology of being on the western side, aka I'm from America, and you from Indonesia and stuff, it separates. You get what I'm saying? It comes here, but it comes later. So a Virgo in their area won't be no like September like that. It'd be like a difference of the September months, 22 days difference. So it'll be like yerk back a little bit. You get what I'm saying? So that's the way that it works over there. So when we talk about that, it's like just the degrees thing. But even when it come out of that type of stuff, they taught it all for us to be able to be under a certain jurisdiction of a certain religion without people knowing it. So even if you find the stars and planets and stuff like that, they tried to get you as an astronomer, they tried to get you as an anatomist when you came down to being, psyched out about the human body. So that's the reason why we actually supposed to be all three of these things, but we don't let them play these roles. So it's like you don't know how to do these things yourself no more. You know what I'm saying? To the point that when you think you is doing it yourself, you're doing it just like them. It's no actual experience. You know what I'm saying? You know how they say flaws in science? I don't forget how they basically say it, but they don't just say a fail. They try to put it a certain way, so it's like not like a fail. So they're even scared to admit when they can't copy God. So they can't copy the sun. So they make suns and all this, that, there, they fail. They make lights. You know what I'm saying? A light bulb is a mini version of sun. You know what I'm saying? Who told you it was light? Who told you it was dark type shit? So they make things off of that. But this is how we supposed to be copying anyway. The whole world supposed to be copying each other. But the way that they do it, they market us and make us be basically slaves to the same thing and the same stuff. So this is the reason why you also see inventions and stuff disappear, because it's the same thing as overqualifying for the world. So if this car make it that people not arguing over oil, or we don't have no excuse to say that we having a war amongst us world leaders to get y'all scared and for us to be able to do little tactics, then what is it? You know what I'm saying? And that's how deep it goes. You see how quick I could shift all of that from to when homeboy just said, hello, I'm watching this from Indonesia. That's just how real it is, because it ain't something you got to think about. It's more spiritually connection. It's more of what all spirits have done came through these realms, whether it was a retarded spirit, whether it was smart and wise. You start to see all of it. You can start seeing how certain things even come across your mind where all thoughts ain't yours and all emotions ain't yours. You know what I'm saying? So it get deep to where we have programs. You know how they have the black and white swirl and they trying to hypnosis, like they trying to put you on the hypnosis. Basically, like we all under hypnosis until we start waking up and realizing, like, y'all the ones that got us spinning for y'all black and white. Y'all the ones actually playing duality. Y'all the ones that's actually act like y'all do something good, turn around, do like 10 things bad, and then turn around and be like, okay, now y'all need us. So that's the same thing they do with like a jailhouse system and stuff like that. So basically, like, so say if a law that got accepted, they'll turn around and take that same law back from you. Hold on, let me turn this off. Cool. All right, but yeah, that's the way that it played or whatever. Damn, just to turn off my Bluetooth, it did all that. But that's crazy. But yeah, man. So when we playing with these type of systems and stuff, the way that they work, it's always like somebody got their head. Something always not gonna feel right. Something always gonna be like, damn, man, you're gonna be trying to come up with ideas, but your ideas and the things that we come up with, they be looked at like a game from their point of view of, okay, they caught on to that, next time let's change this up so they won't catch on that way. You know what I'm saying? So they steady do things like that so we don't never realize what's actually going on. So like I said, even when it comes to inflation and stuff like that, by them having all the trust and we putting our trust in them, we actually believe the numbers. We actually believe, okay, the price of this should go up. We actually believe that because you know why? They do it in slick tactics by having you as the businessman that thought you was out of everything because you became this. But they trick you too by having you now have to participate with what they got going on. You get what I'm saying? Like, you have to be part of the deal. And you got to scam your people. And you got to do people that came and tried to do what you're doing, you got to kick them down. Business is business. And yeah, it could have been a different way of doing it. Not saying everybody going to be successful. That don't make sense. But saying at the same time, it could have been a bit different way it's done. So basically, what they do is teach people how to do things in a messed up order. How to do things in a manner where it's no, I'm going to say love. Just put it like that. It's just all out of, I got to do what I got to do. And then as soon as you do that, a company be like, we got to do what we got to do. We got to cut you. But you done did with all you got to do to fire people and stuff like that, and did that. So they get us to do their own dirt, and then at the end of the day, they get the ones to come back and do go to the dirty work, same way they used to do with tribal wars and stuff. They'll try to make two tribes get into it, or try to really instigate it, and then try to come as the last man, and then be like, oh yeah, let us take over everything, man. We got you, man. We told y'all about them. No, y'all like to play reverse psychology on people. Y'all like to turn people against each other. And that's the reason why when you look at people that's, in the hood and stuff, they don't understand how deep that junk goes. That's the reason why even when you go to the churches and stuff, it's like it's nothing that can help someone not get turned against each other. It's like color don't help, none of that. And we ain't saying everybody gonna be peaceful and happy. Of course not. You got ups and downs. That's the whole part of like your duality of your life, right? To where you don't never want to be too high, because the higher you go, the harder you fall. Or you don't never want to be too low, because then it's hard to get up. Like, you ever seen someone that's so stuck into their groove no matter what? It's like you can't help them get up no matter how much you try, to the point you start helping hurt yourself, because it's like them having weight of the world. They're becoming more heavy. They're not becoming more light and becoming more, light-minded. They're becoming more heavy. So the density of how the real world play out, this is what it is. So this is real science. So you can actually see sometimes when a person in a bad mood, it's almost like an actual cloud over their head, and it's almost like you can feel the aura not being the same as it is. The little give off shit you feel off, it's like the same stuff of how when we all come together, of the warmness and how things get. So when we talk about temperatures and stuff like that, it gets deep. So this is the reason why people even tell a person quick, are you a warm-hearted individual versus a cold-hearted individual? They look at cold as being the dark or the negative or being the heavy. So no matter how you look at it, this is the way that it play out. And that's the reason why our mind play out when it see dark or red and stuff like this. It's like mental for certain things, but it's all colorism and spectrums. So how they like to separate it is amongst tribes of trying to use things to be like, yo, these is our colors. You see it when you see the British, the UK, and then you look at America. They owned by the same people. It ain't no doubt about it. And even if it say put a different person's name on there, that just like if you in the hood, your mom put something in your name. Yeah, but we know it's mom's on it, ain't yours. You know what I'm saying? Or we know it's dad's on it, ain't yours. So it's the same thing. So this is the way that they play things. So they're able to build more buildings. Trust me, I know how business work, even on construction or owning too many houses, how you gotta play that. So it get deep on that. So they already know that because they watching each other and learning from each other mistakes with that type of stuff. But we all still be the ones that's against each other. Like, when the world, like, for instance, with housing, real estate, and all that type of stuff there, it's based on a number system that they gave us based off of decimals. So how they do is they move the decimals. So what was once $10 is now worth $1. What was once worth $1 is now worth like 10 cents in reality. So it's like move decimals. See, this is how they play amongst each other. So when you're looking at the zeros, all it is other things getting created. So yeah, I would give you $100 instead of $50 on your pay, but everything I'm taking up is double. You get what I'm saying? It's like a number game. So you thinking you got more because it looked like more. So instead of 2000 nowadays look like a $200 from back in the days. You get what I'm saying? What you could have did, it's very the decimal point for, is this actually real? Or somebody just said, hey, this is what y'all gonna pay, this is what y'all gonna get paid, and this is how this gonna work, and that's how it's gonna keep falling. So when we see a system that do not work for us, that's called like waking up to the things. So now we start creating a different system where it's not derived on these same individuals. They don't like stuff like that. So you'll see when even people just come up with not even a whole system, where they could come up with a cash out, but they could come up with a different way of riding around, a different way how you can save money or save life. They come in and something go wrong. The person just go missing, or the person come back, they invention that got changed a lot, and they just got to sit there and be like, well, yeah. So then later on you find out, oh, the invention now is a curse because it isn't. No, they made it that. You get what I'm saying? That person jump could have been good. Like just throwing them in there real quick. The guy with the plastic and stuff melting down the gas. I don't know where he come from. I don't know how it goes. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, they'll use that same stuff and make it like this is the reason why car motor on fire, but they done added alcohol on top of whatever he had going on. You get what I'm saying? So it'd be like that type of stuff where they try to make it like this was already a problem. This was wrong with this invention. No, it wasn't. Y'all like for failure because failure keep y'all in the system of making money off people. So even when it comes to a car, y'all could have been built a car that don't break and don't use fossil fuel, but they choose to. So even when they're electric cars, they're horrible. So they're not going to give you something where you don't have to spend money no more. Even if it's a house, the roof, the way the wood that they're using, all of this stuff. So when it comes down to breaking and stuff, and if you want the top fine notch, you got to pay that real money. So it's already you getting that money up front off of you. So instead of us charging you for that tree over there, we going to give you that tree anyway. But we're going to go ahead and charge you extra just because we know you got it. You get what I'm saying? So then they'll put it in another house, but then give it other problems. So they play different things of making you pick and choose a shoe size that fit, or basically in this case a whole outfit of, hey, the uniform, you know, the going to work uniform, the business suit and tie, you know what I'm saying? So this is what they're doing. They're uniforming people. That's why the uniform restrictions and laws and policies is so strict. It has nothing to do with your work. It has nothing to do with your work. It's for you to look like a unit under amongst they shit. You get what I'm saying? So when somebody look, it almost look like the army. You're an army for the man, no matter what. You're not an army for God. You're not being the police for God. You're being the police for man. Even when you on a police enforcement and you think you're doing the laws and God for God duties, it's not God duties. You're doing that for man duties. You're fulfilling man obligations. Yes, it's people that need to be locked up in life, but not everybody. In the way that they play it, they come up with rules that's against the game, against human nature. So the way that a person act out is they use that against them, the same way they do with everything else. So you can see how they play that, and they use the same thing to get out of stuff. We done seen the Epstein's thing, like how all this stuff go to disappearing, but all these talks and stuff was going around. You know what I'm saying? It just be funny because they like to play games with people, and depending on how much people is interested in stuff, they go in it. But at the end of the day, what was something like that even say was from? So once again, it's like how many times y'all need to know there's some stuff going behind those. They even said in their movies and shit where you have to do something strange in order for you to get in a certain position. And if you ain't willing to do those strange things, even if it's sacrificing somebody, you're not getting in that certain position. Or if you're not under this education program, like I had with the Yale stuff and stuff like that, you're not getting into this. So you have to have a what's the name behind you? You know, alpha, pi, data, and beta, and all that there. I showed y'all the reason why. It's because of how these things go. It's a brotherhood. So what's come with these brotherhood and these societies, it's come with oaths. So if y'all ever seen societies and stuff, they do a lot of weird shit too. And they do so much weird shit to see what is each other going to be okay. Who's going to tell what in the room. We all going to go through with it and all that weird shit though. So they basically teach reverse psychology to make you okay with shit that ain't okay. So when you see this and you start seeing these people being in these fraternities and stuff, it's more deeper than a school group or a book club just for you to have a brotherhood behind you.